All right, guys, long story short, this is going to be a no bullshit step-by-step breakdown of exactly how Marcus went from nothing, from absolute zero, to now doing between 10 and 20K months cash collected in literally a matter of 12 weeks, okay? We were able to get him to over 10K in just 3.5 weeks, and this is all with just 95% profit margins. And in this video, I'm just going to show you exactly what we did and how it's possible. So when he came to me, right, he was in debt, he was stressed, he wasn't really sure how to actually monetize his passion, right? He didn't know whether to sell ebooks, guides, whether to create a training plan, right? Should he try and team up with someone and promote discount codes in his bio? He just didn't know where to look, and that's why he booked a call with me from watching my YouTube videos, and only in a matter of a couple months, this is the screenshot here of him doing now between 10 and 20K cash collected per month. So there's a 16K there. Last month, 11K. This is his Instagram profile. And this is what he said to me after 3.5 weeks. You can see there. So yeah, so let's get straight into it. So this is all without paid ads, sending cold DMs to strangers, or having to even be a fitness influencer with a big following, right? You don't need all this stuff. So you're probably wondering how, right? Well, before any sort of transformational thing happens, right, step one is awareness. Awareness about what your current situation is and where it is you're actually looking to go. So you might be one of two people. Person A is the frustrated personal trainer who knows that there is a better way than being a PT, right? You're a personal trainer, grinding on the gym floor day after day. You're burnt out from the endless one-to-one sessions, trading your time for money. You know, you're frustrated by the last-minute cancellations and dreading the fact that when you're not working, you're not earning. So vacations, forget it, because you're not clocking hours, your income stops, and no matter how hard you push, you've hit a ceiling because your time is basically your income. Now, I've been in this position myself, and it only took me a couple of years before I decided that this isn't what I want to do anymore. You know, I've got a passion for helping people, but there must be a better way. So person B is the passionate but lost fitness enthusiast. So this was more like Marcus, right? He wasn't previously a personal trainer. He just knew he was in shape, right? This is what he was passionate about, and he wanted to monetize his passion. So you're someone who's passionate about health and fitness, but maybe you're stuck in a job that you don't love, and you know you have the skills to help people transform their lives, but you feel like a bit lost trying to figure out how to actually turn that passion into a thriving career. So you're scrolling on social media, you've seen all these other coaches succeed, and you're thinking, why not me? You know, I could do that as well. But every time you try to take the leap, you know, doubt, confusion stops you in your tracks, and you end up just giving up. So either way, right, deep down, you know you're not earning the kind of money that you're worth. And it's not just about the paycheck, it's about what the money represents, right? So freedom, that's the main reason why people want to coach people online. They're passionate about helping people, but they just want to have that freedom in their life so that they're actually working for a lifestyle they want to live, and they're not just living to work. So, you know, you want to be able to control your schedule. You want to be able to help more people, take time off without stress, knowing that you're still able to earn money, and basically just build a life that you're actually proud of, right? Instead of feeling like tied down, stuck in a loop that you can't break out of, and you're just watching the world around you move online while you're wondering why you're being left behind, right? It's a rapidly growing market, but this opportunity in front of you, it's not going to last forever. There will be a point in time where it is very normalized. So it's kind of like now you need to take the leap, right? So imagine this, right? Your business actually enhances your lifestyle instead of limiting it. So being an online coach is the ultimate, what I like to call the business, lifestyle business, right? It's the kind of business where you call the shots, you work on your own terms, wherever you want in the world, and finally have the freedom to actually live the life that you've been dreaming about, right? Whether that means, you know, just being able to move wherever you want, having more time with family, you know, being a bit of a digital nomad, living in Bali or something like that. So imagine you wake up in Bali, right? Pour a coffee, you spend an hour working with clients, all while the sound of waves fill the air. By lunchtime, you're able to explore, relax, or just spend time with your friends or family, the people that you care about. And the best part is you don't even need to be making a ton of money for this to actually become a reality. And that's basically exactly what Marcus has achieved, right? He now runs a simple, streamlined business that brings in between 10 and 20K per month. That's profit, by the way, and cash collected, not just revenue, like clockwork, right? His clients get life-changing results, and he gets the freedom to work wherever he wants, whenever he wants. So basically, right, total revenue in November, this was his best month revenue-wise, was 40K. He now has a systemized backend that pumps out client results, right? So there's this limiting belief that if you go online, your clients aren't getting a good service because you're not there in front of them. But in reality, like if your client isn't a complete beginner who doesn't have a clue what they're doing, then most cases, people actually benefit more from an online coaching service because they get more from it. There's more value there, right? So here's just a little screenshot here of only being 3 months into coaching people before he hadn't even coached anyone before, right? And he's helping people, lose 25 pounds in 9 weeks, 20 pounds in 9 weeks, 13 pounds in 5 weeks, right? Just getting results on clockwork because we've got his back end nailed. And here's just a little insight into our coach client dynamic, right? So, the thing is, you learn the most when you're not scared to, share your opinion, and, actually speak up. So the dynamic between me and Marcus, he came with his ideas. He's a very passionate guy, but it's my job as a coach to, meet him halfway in the middle with the data and experience that I have, so that we can come to like a middle ground, and to make what his thoughts, what he believes to be true and what he believes to be reality, to make that into something that actually works based on, my experiences and data. But to be honest, he's been a pleasure to work with. Like, you can see here that he says, he's grateful that we can just go back and forth with each other. And sometimes, we just need to hash things out, and then we always get to a solution that's, the best way forward. But ultimately, he is grateful, taught him to make him money and things like that. But that's the kind of dynamic that you need to have with a coach is, you're not just going along with every single thing that they say, that you're actually trying to learn as much as possible and actually, understand why things are happening on like a deep level, or else you're just not really going to learn to the full extent that you could be. Now, here's the thing. It's not just Marcus. This system isn't just exclusive secret that only works for one person. It's a proven process that's worked for other people as well. Coaches who, like maybe you're burnt out, stuck, or overwhelmed. And that's maybe how you're feeling right now, but I don't want to bore you with these, but here's just some other examples as well. So Maria got her to 8K in 2 months. Trevor scaled him massively from 8K to 73K. He's doing almost $1 million a year right now. Callum started from scratch, 5 paying clients in 14 days. Cody, 0 to 10K in 4 months from scratch. And Kiro in Costa Rica, right? We were able to get him to 4K per month in just 2 months. Now, the truth is you don't need to be famous, have a huge following, or work yourself into the ground to make this happen. In fact, the great thing about going in this direction is you're able to make more money and actually work less. You just need to follow a system that actually has a proven track record. So all you need to do is execute after that point, right? Now, if you're ready to draw the line in the sand, say enough is enough, and actually take control of your career, then I just want to reassure you that you are in the right place. And watching this video all the way through isn't just the first step, it's actually the most important step, right? You have to be willing to actually focus and apply yourself. But in the next few minutes, I'm going to show you exactly how Marcus went from 0 to over 10K in 3.5 weeks, and how he turned that into between 10 and 20K per month online coaching fitness business. Now, what we did first, we had to establish some things on a first principle level, right? How do we turn his vision into a machine that actually produces the outcome that he wants, right? So thinking in the way of like building systems to actually make it happen. So how do we take his passion and expertise and turn it into a systemized machine that consistently brings in high paying fitness clients, right? So what is a system, right? You've got the inputs, you've got the process, you've got the outputs that are a result of that, and then a feedback, and then it creates this constant loop, right? So you're putting in the inputs, you're following a proven vehicle, you're getting the outputs that you want, but then it's not going to work 100% of the time, first time around, right? You have to be willing to collect data, look at the data, and then iterate from there till you get to a point where everything just clicks, okay? So understanding the power of systems in business. So let's break this down for a moment, okay? So every thriving business, whether it's Apple, Tesla, or a high-performing online coaching business, runs on systems. These systems don't just work, they work together like gears in like a well-oiled machine. That's how I like to look at it, right? It's this big machine, and inside you've got all the moving parts that are running well. And one part, if it's not working well, it can basically break the whole system. So you're not just a coach anymore. You need to open your mind and change the way that you operate. So if you're still trying to operate in that PT coach mindset of trading your time for money and trying to do everything yourself, then you're just going to burn yourself out. So you have to become a business owner, right? Who thinks about creating leverage and creating systems to get the outcomes that you actually want. So when we look at inputs, this is where it all begins. So you're basically the driver of this vehicle, and nothing is going to run without you actually performing the actions on a daily basis. And the problem is that a lot of coaches face when they try and scale online is like what to focus on, right? Not having that clarity about where their time is best spent and the process. So things are going to happen as a result of your inputs. So this is where having the right systems and processes in place come into play. Knowing that everything is working in sync towards creating the desired outputs that you want. The outputs, that's the result, the revenue, the happy clients, and the thriving business. Feedback, right? This is how the system evolves over time. So, tweaking things, optimizing, improving based on what's working and what's not. So actually looking at the data, right? So that you can actually have, you're seeing what works and what doesn't work, and you can double down on the things that do work, right? Now, here's the problem with most coaches, right? Here's the thing is most fitness coaches are stuck because they don't have all these parts working together. Maybe they're posting random content without a clear input strategy, or they're great at training clients, but they just have no reliable way to actually generate leads consistently. And as a result, their business just feels like it's stuck in the mud, and it's kind of exhausting and it's disheartening, right? And that's why a lot of online coaches give up and they just stick to what they know, which is training clients on a one-to-one basis. And on top of that, your brain is constantly overwhelmed with information. So you probably spent hours scrolling through free content online, consuming advice from 101 different sources, only to end up with analysis paralysis. So you're just unsure which step to actually take next and where to actually put your focus and your energy, right? And all this doubt keeps you from being successful. So to make it even worse, shiny objects and syndrome, you've probably heard that term before, but when you're just using free content, this is actually the enemy, right? Because it's everywhere. Every day, a new strategy, tool, or opportunity is marketed to you, promising to solve all your problems. And it feels like there's always something better around the corner. But here's the harsh truth, right? You'll never break out of this cycle until you actually commit to one path and block out all the noise. So as long as you're jumping from strategy to strategy, second guessing every decision that you're making, you're just going to stay stuck in the same place forever. Now, the fitness coaches who really thrive in this place aren't the ones chasing every new hack or shortcut. They're the ones who simplify, focus, and put a system in place that actually has a proven track record. So let me just walk you through all the systems that we put in place for Marcus so you can see how it all works. So let's go down here, right? So the first things first, it all comes down to actually, what are the foundations? Well, the foundations is who are you actually trying to target here? What value are you proposing to the market, and what part of the market are you actually trying to target? So the first thing we did for Marcus was we helped him craft an irresistible offer. And this isn't just about slapping a price on what's already working. It's about identifying your ideal clients, right? And what they truly need and creating a premium solution that they'd happily invest in. So, you have to be talking to the right people if you want the perceived value to be very high. Now, Marcus wasn't selling workout plans or meal plans. He started offering just a complete life transformation, okay? Not just messing around with all these crap offers, all these like shit low ticket offers. He actually took a step back and thought, what's the absolute best outcome that I'm suited to teaching someone? Right? And we positioned him as the go-to expert for that thing. And that's what allowed him to charge $3,000 plus for his packages. Now, that's how you stop selling your time for money and you start building real wealth, right? Is you actually package up something that's amazing, and you sell it to people who genuinely need it. And here's where most coaches go wrong, right? They think their offer is just about selling workout plans or meal plans. Maybe you've been charging per session or bundling together, generic advice, hoping that people see the value. But the truth is, this approach is actually what's keeping you stuck, overworked, and underpaid. You're just too focused on selling the process as opposed to identifying the best transformation that you're able to sell. Now, think about it. If you're just selling the same things every other coach, right? Because if you think about it, training plans, nutrition plans, check-ins, who doesn't sell that if you're a fitness coach? That if you're a fitness coach, that's just the standard, right? That's not really a unique selling proposition. That's nothing, that's nothing interesting. So why, if you're just focused on selling those things, why would someone want to pay you $3,000 if they can just find a similar looking thing for, $300 or even $30? Okay. So here's what a typical sort of coaching offer looks like. It's low perceived value because you're just selling basically what everyone else is selling, and you're just copying everyone else. Your messaging is too broad. You're trying to talk to way too many people, right? You're trying to please everyone. So it dulls down your marketing power because you're just trying to please so many different people, and it just doesn't work, right? You're so process heavy. So what I mean by that is just what I said before, you're focusing on too much on what you're giving them as opposed to the outcome. It's too generic, and you just instantly default to monthly payments for everyone, right? So that means you're not able to actually get to your cash flow up to a certain point where it's actually very profitable, and you can actually, you've got more wealth and you can invest in different things. So here's what a sophisticated coaching offer looks like. So it's high perceived value, right? It's exclusive. So you're identifying a little part of the market, and then you're trying to make the best thing possible for those people, right? It's outcome driven. So you're focusing on the end result that you're getting, and you're selling the outcome. You're not selling the process. And there's more specificity. So what I mean by that is, because it's exclusive, now you're able to make a program, right, and focus on things that only benefit them people, to package up this awesome deal, right, that just seems like the best thing on the market for them. And it's a value-based investment. So you don't just instantly default to monthly payments. You're actually looking at the bigger picture, and based on this individual, where they're looking to go, now you can basically hit them with an investment that kind of summarizes the whole journey. Okay. So just doing monthly payments is not going to get people as emotionally and financially invested as they could be. So you end up actually getting worse results because you're charging monthly as opposed to packaging up an investment, right, that is suited to the outcome that they're trying to achieve based on their own circumstances. So typically, we recommend charging 1.5 to 2 times more than generic run-of-the-mill coaching programs, because it becomes a lot more appealing because we're talking directly to a certain type of person, and we have all the value stacked in their favor because they're taking, instead of just taking, a please everyone approach, we're lowering the supply, which makes the demand of what you're selling much, much higher. So people will always pay more for something if they value it more, right? If there's 2 options that are similar, but one is much more suited to what they want, they're going to be willing to pay a lot more money for that thing. So ultimately, you're cutting out 90% of the competition by just doubling down on the people who you're best suited to serving. And if you've been around the block, you'll know that it's in your best interest to avoid the people who are cheap and just looking for a quick fix. And not only this, but when you default to monthly payments, their brain will subconsciously find reasons to rationalize why they shouldn't be paying for it anymore. So whether it's just their ego convincing them that they don't need it anymore when things are going well, or as like a protective mechanism that knows they have like an escape route if their commitment crumbles or their personal situation gets difficult in some way or another. And because of this, if you're charging monthly, you're basically placing a bet on all these people who you don't know. They're basically, they're complete strangers. And you're just placing a bet on their circumstances and their level of commitment and discipline. But by using this new approach, you get a much more emotionally invested people, because that, if they've got the money, then they're willing to pay more upfront, which puts them into a mindset of they want to get their money's worth, right? So what happens? More cash flow and then better results for clients. So next, right? So now that we've established all of this and we've got him an offer, right, that actually speaks to the soul of the people who he wants, and we've got it all packaged up in a way that actually benefits him as a business owner, what then we look to do is what I like to call my quick wins protocol. So after the foundations are built, right, who's he targeting? His ideal client persona. We've got a sophisticated offer in place, right? We've got a roadmap set up. He's got a world-class program in place. Most importantly, Marcus's mindset and vision for his own business is all mapped out and crafted, so he knows exactly where he's looking to go. So these are all the sort of foundational things that we need to get out of the way as soon as possible. Now, from there, we move on to the quick wins protocol. So the thought process with this, it's simply a way of extracting as much interest from his current audience as humanly possible so that he can make a return on investment from the program fast. Now, if we get him quick wins, this is going to make sure that his confidence is as high as possible, which is going to make sure that his performance going into the rest of the program is as good as it can be, right? He's on this high, his excitement is high, he sees that it works, and he's going to be very confident, and his performance is going to be high going into the rest of the program. So we need to consider that Marcus's current audience isn't yet niched down to this new offer that we've built, okay? Because he's not marketed it yet. So his audience are just going to be a bunch of random people. So we need to create a slightly broader offer just so it's most likely to hit well. And just for context, like the quick wins protocol, it's basically just a small marketing campaign that we can put out to his existing audience to generate as much interest as possible before we go into the long-term stuff. So if we just started with niche content immediately, then we potentially leave a lot of money on the table that could have been found in his current audience. Okay, so that's why you want to extract as much interest as possible from your current audience before you move on to the longer term stuff. I just want to note something as well about the ideal customer persona and the offer, right? Is if you're a personal trainer who already has data, like even if it's just in your head, right, about which clients get the best results and which clients are the most fun to work with, which clients are the most likely to pay you on a call, all of this stuff is like data that you can use to craft who your ideal customer persona is, and then make an offer directly for those people, and then double down on that because you know those people work. So if you double down on that sort of part of the market, you're more likely to be able to scale your business, right? So here's the sort of high level overview of the quick wins protocol. So it's a 14-day marketing sequence, right? We need to identify potential candidates who could be a good fit. We need to script the templates, the posts, right, for this marketing sequence. And then Marcus needs to produce the content. So whether it's a reel or just an image with a caption, it doesn't matter. But it all needs to be prepared prior to the launch, right? So the script templates is basically a combination of direct offers, value posts, belief shifting posts, transformation story about himself, any social proof. So if he's even just helped anyone before and they're willing to give him a quick testimonial or something like that, that really helps. And these are all accompanied by call to actions. So the direct offer is basically just a post that tells everyone exactly what it is, who it's for. Okay. You need that because people need the clarity straight away. Then what happens is over the course of the next 14 days, you're nurturing these people with value posts, with belief shifting posts, talking about his transformation, social proof, things like that. And you're giving people an easy route to take action every single time. And by making it a 14-day cycle, this just means that you're able to generate as much awareness as possible. And people that see it on day one might not be in a position or might not sort of be familiar with you enough to take action on day one. But by the time, day 12, day 13, day 14 comes along, maybe that's where they take action, which is quite common. But a lot of fitness coaches, when they're making offers and putting out, things on, they'll make one post, right? And that's it. It's not enough. You need to build more awareness and you need to nurture people. So, and then what we do is, so that now that we have all these planned out, now you do what I like to call the VIP invite, which is where you've got all these people, right? Who maybe it's even just like family, friends, people, work colleagues, people that you've spoke to in the DMs who have asked you questions. These are all people who you can give the VIP invite to. And what I mean by the VIP invite is one day before you actually launch these posts, you figure out who these people are and you just message them. You just say, look, based on our previous conversations, I just wanted to give you this opportunity before anyone else, right? And it just makes sense, makes them feel important, makes them feel grateful. And it just means you can capitalize on these people who maybe you've got a previous relationship with before you then go to posting on social media. And then after that, you simply begin the cycle, right? So people are going to be engaging with your posts, you're liking, replying to them. And then basically what you're trying to do is you're just trying to start conversations and book calls. It's as simple as that. Now, when you get people into the DMs, you want to propose the call as quickly as possible. You don't want to reveal all the details in the DMs because they might ghost you. You want to get people in front of you on a call paying attention. Okay. So, and then basically what you're doing is, getting them onto a call, then you're positioning yourself as an absolute no-brainer offer. So if this is something you're doing for this first time, you're going to have maybe an incentives in place, like a discount or bonuses or anything, maybe for like 5 people, just to create urgency, some scarcity, and just to make it an absolute no-brainer offer, and like make it sound like a one-time opportunity for the people who you actually get onto a call, right? And if you do this properly, you'll be able to close people easily. So Marcus was able to close his first 6 clients, had another client, Callum, right? He had like 60 Instagram followers and a few hundred Facebook friends. He was able to close his first 5 clients in 14 days. So if you do this all right, it works magically, right? And it just gets you over that little hump of like trying to get your first few clients if you're starting from scratch. But this same process still applies, even if you're an existing online coach. So basically, Marcus was completely new to coaching. So kind of like what I was saying there, the priority is to get him his first people on board ASAP so that we can make sure that it's a no-brainer and the value is stacked like 20 times higher than the investment presented to them. So here's just a little screenshot of like Marcus saying he's like closed his first 6 calls. And, it's still for a reasonable price as well. Like this isn't the price that we wanted as his regular pricing, but that's actually still a very substantial amount of money. And from there, right, now that he's got the first sort of 5 clients through the door, 5, 6 clients, this means we're able to get feedback that he needed for his MVP very fast. So what I mean by that is it's a minimum viable product. So you just need the bare minimum in place to actually start coaching people. So then you can actually get people through the door and improve the program over time based on real feedback. So a massive mistake that in the industry is coaches, they don't actually launch their program until they have the perfect program in place. But this is all just a hypothesis. It's all theory from your head about what you think is going to be a good program. But you can't optimize until you actually get people through the door so you can make improvements to your program based on real data. Otherwise, you're just battling problems in your head that don't exist, right? That's very important. You always want to sell before you build. Very important. So business loves speed, right? Take fast, messy action, learn quickly, and then make adjustments. And don't be the person who is planning for months, right? We literally launched this within 72 hours from scratch. You didn't have a program before this. So you don't need to be twiddling your thumbs, mental masturbation. You just want to get something in place, launch it, get people in, then improve from there. Okay. So that's the quick wins protocol. So if we move on next, which is more thinking about, what's the kind of long-term play here. So after a successful first launch, we want to be thinking long-term now. And initially his goal was to hit 20K per month revenue by Christmas. right? And it's safe to say he smashed that out of the park. He doubled it. Now, with his ideal client persona locked in, his sophisticated premium offer ready to go at full price, the next step was critical. So we needed to build him a marketing machine that consistently generated qualified leads basically on autopilot, without paid ads. And it is possible. So a system that would keep his calendar full of high quality prospects without the chaos or the guesswork or chasing people. And here's what we didn't do. Okay. So I'll tell you what I didn't have him do, because this is where so many coaches waste time, money, and energy. We didn't have him messing around trying to optimize ads, right? And risk blowing thousands of dollars with no guaranteed return on investment. And we didn't have him cold DMing strangers, chasing clients, or begging for yeses, right? This is two things I really wanted to avoid. And believe it or not, there are coaches out there who are still like business coaches out there who are still pushing these like hustle tactics as like a one size all fits approach. And so many coaches end up frustrated, feeling deflated, and with less money that they had before they started, right? Before they started the program. So here's what we did instead. So we wanted to turn him into what I like to call an attractor brand, someone who doesn't chase clients, but attracts them, a brand that makes people want to knock on his door, eager to work with him because they already see him as a trusted authority in his space. Now, this completely flips the dynamic, because now Marcus has leverage, right? He's no longer scrambling to take on whoever's willing to pay him. Instead, he has the luxury of choosing who he wants to work with, right? People that he knows he can genuinely help, and people that he's excited to work with, clients that he knows he can get incredible results for. So even though he started from scratch, we still got this into motion by focusing on two key elements, right? Which was trust and authority. So we did this using the platform YouTube. So not just any content, but specifically a specific strategy designed to do three things. So showcase Marcus's story and transformation, making him relatable and inspiring to his audience. We wanted to educate his audience, right? Delivering massive value up front while subtly pre-selling at them on his approach. And then number three is we wanted to nurture leads by building trust over time, so that by the time they booked a call, they were already sold on him as the expert and his process, and they knew that he could help him. Right? And why is this so important? I mean, the power of YouTube for coaches, right, is crazy, and it's still so untapped. So here's why YouTube is so powerful. People come to YouTube actively looking for solutions to their problems. They're not just scrolling aimlessly like they are on Instagram or TikTok. They're typing in search terms, how to lose weight, best fitness plan for busy professionals. They're already invested, which makes YouTube the perfect platform to educate, connect, and build trust at scale. So for Marcus, we didn't just post random fitness tips or motivational quotes. We actually built him a content strategy that made him the trusted authority for his ideal clients. Every video had a purpose, and every piece of content was actually designed to speak directly to the people who he wanted to attract. And we had him speaking to the desires and pains of his target audience and basically just solving those problems at scale for them. So instead of just being a part of someone's like doom scrolling session on Instagram, while they're laying in bed, Marcus was harvesting in watch time, right? People who are sitting down, dedicating 20 minutes of their time to watching a video, grabbing a coffee, and being focused for that time. Not just people who are scrolling, maybe in that scrolling session, they see your reel, but that's like one of 50 reels, and instantly you're out of their mind, right? So we completely eliminated this. So YouTube is really easy, right? If you nail these things. So title, thumbnail, right? That's what gets people to actually click on the video. Then the video hook. Okay. So the hook is basically the promise of what they're going to get if they click on it, if they decide to watch the video, because in the first, 30 seconds to 1 minute, that's when their brain is subconsciously thinking, do I actually even want to watch this or not? Right. So you're getting the clicks, you're getting the watch time. And if you combine that with a high ticket offer, that's when you can make a lot of money. Right. And basically on average, she was making, quite a lot of money, right? You can make for every sort of 1,000 views of like niche specific content towards someone in particular, and you're solving their direct problems and speaking to their pains and desires, you can easily be making on average like $2,000 per 1,000 views, right? It's so powerful if you get it right. And why the YouTube works so well long term is that the YouTube content doesn't just disappear after 24 hours like Instagram story or a TikTok post. The videos keep working for you week after week, month after month. Even videos Marcus posted like weeks ago are still driving traffic, still nurturing his audience, and booking him calls today, right? It's like planting seeds that just grow over time. It's more like a compounding asset. So this is what I mean by building a leveraged marketing machine. So you're not working harder, you're working smarter, right? You've got this system that you know can generate you clients, right, easily. And it's something that your hard work over time, it just grows exponentially. So we combined this with a highly nurturing machine with Instagram to create a content ecosystem, right, that was bringing in new qualified leads every day and making sure that the people who didn't want to buy straight away, which is probably like 3% of everyone who's going to come onto your profile, that those other 97% were now in this ecosystem that it just keeps going, like it's like a flywheel until they're ready to buy, right? So this is kind of what it looks like. And this is the part where YouTube comes into it. So this mechanism right here allowed Marcus to convert strangers into clients at 10 times the speed of coaches who were just using Instagram and TikTok as their main like marketing channel. And after just a few 20 to 30 minutes, of people watching him, they now trusted him, they now related to him, and were sold on his process and were familiar with his personality. Because on Instagram and things, it's very scripted. You don't really get a feel for like who they are as a person. So instead of this happening slowly over the course of like 20 to 50 reels, he was able to do this with just 3 to 4 hours of work by leveraging long form content. So, here's what it looks like. We're using TikTok and reels as like the main sort of driving force, right? Because it gets a lot of views. And we're getting those people straight away into YouTube, right? Whether it's him promoting videos on his stories or in the bio link, right? So even when the people follow him, they're now in this cycle, right? And if you notice, this cycle just keeps going around until they close, right? Which is up here, sale closed. If they don't close, they're still in this cycle, right? And they're keeping on being nurtured. And if they actually want what he's selling, it's only a matter of time until they actually become a client. So next, we're going to discuss how Marcus was actually closing as such a high percentage, despite selling his coaching for $3,000, right? Which kind of, you might think, if you've never done high ticket, you might think that contradicts each other, right? Why would people pay that? But actually his close rate was so high and he was selling coaching packages for $3,000. So next is the sort of, the conversion mechanism, right? Which it plays a huge part in being able to close deals. So here's the thing about sales, right? Most coaches unknowingly sabotage their results before they even get someone on the phone. And it's not because they don't work hard. It's because their process creates confusion instead of clarity. So a lot of people think that they need a fancy website. Having a website probably is the most unnecessary thing that coaches, can spend money and effort on. You're not an e-com company. You're not a retail brand. You don't need a checkout page. It's a complete waste of time. And you think it makes you look more professional, but I'm telling you right now, it literally makes no difference and it's not going to make you more money. It's a waste of money. Now, the clarity problem, this is why a website sucks, is because most coaches make the mistake of offering their prospects too many options, too many paths to follow, too many services to choose from, right? They get in this little mindset of like, they think more the better when it comes to offers, but that's actually couldn't be further from the truth. And what happens is this creates overwhelm for prospects, leads them to analysis paralysis, and then they end up just putting it off because they're confused and they're not 100% certain about what they need. So when people are confused, they don't take action. So that's why so many leads slip through the cracks. And the solution is having a clear and focused customer journey Instead of giving people a buffet of choices, you need a single streamlined path that leads them straight to your high ticket offer, the offer that you want to sell the most, that's going to generate you the most cash flow. And because when your process feels simple and intentional, right, and it sounds like it's perfect for them, right, they get the little light bulb moment, they then naturally feel more confident about working with you, right? So this is also known as a funnel, right? It's just when people think of a funnel in business terms, they associate it with these unnecessary things, which can be, expensive to implement. So they think they need a fancy website or a landing page. They think they need the best copywriting in the world, right? They think they need the best graphics design in the world. You don't need any of this. What you need is basically just your Instagram page. Your Instagram page is your website. That's your resume, right? Your VSL is your copywriting and graphics design. Don't waste your time. Just have a nice theme throughout your socials. Use Canva, job done. And you're probably thinking, why can't I just use an application like every other coach? And this is why applications fall flat. So basically it's overused. They're overusing applications for. I see it all the time. Coaches relying on long drawn out applications as their main conversion tool. But here's the reality. An application is just a barrier to entry. It's not value driving. It's not a value driving mechanism. It doesn't build trust. It doesn't build authority. It doesn't build excitement. And in today's market, it's so overdone. Everyone's using an application, which means that you don't stand out from the crowd. So basically, here's what the funnel could look like. Okay. You're using traffic. You're using short form as your main sort of traffic generating tool. You've got your offer and your ICP at the top, which is dialed in. So all this content is aimed at these people, right? Your messaging is clear. You've got a consistent flow of traffic. And then what happens in this middle of funnel is they come into your Instagram page, right? They're seeing your stories, they're seeing your content, and you drive them to YouTube in your VSL, which is longer form, which gives them a ton of value up front and really separates you from the crowd. And then what ends up happening is you just start to get sales calls booked. And if you aren't booking calls through YouTube, you're using a warm DM strategy to reach out to the people who then follow you on Instagram. And it just means you're casting a wide net over everyone and no one's slipping through the cracks. Okay. So yeah, this is kind of what it looks like, right? Then they buy your offer, you get results, and then you put the results back into your system. Now, what you need to not do is fall into the trap of shiny object syndrome, right? You need to focus on content and talking to people. Don't get caught up in these shiny objects that I talked about just a few seconds ago. And you're probably wondering, like, what the fuck is a VSL? Because not a lot of online fitness coaches are actually using it. So what it is, it's a video sales layer. And it's not just a random video, it's a conversion machine. So it gives your prospects massive upfront value, helps them understand your unique process, and it actually gets them excited about booking a call with you. And why is a VSL so effective? It's because it positions you as the expert while simultaneously separating you from your competition. Most coaches out there are just trying to DM prospects or rely on plain text application forms. But when it comes to someone watching your VSL, they've already had a chance to hear your story, connect with your philosophy, and see how your program actually works on a logical level, all before that they even talk to you and book a call. So not to mention that for some reason, like I was saying, like fitness coaches still aren't operating like this, even coming into 2025, which is crazy. But here's the key. So the VSL has to be placed strategically in your customer journey. It shouldn't just be a random video that people stumble across. It needs to act as the bridge between the trust that you build through your content and the decision to book a call, right? The VSL is the perfect conversion mechanism that bridges that gap. And in Marcus's case, we strategically placed the VSL as the clear next step for people who engage with his content. So we had it in his bio with a call to action, right? So it's one of the first things that new profile visitors see. We made his featured video on YouTube so that with people, he was generating video through his other videos that if they checked out his channel, it was right in front of their eyes, this main featured video. And we even put a call to action in his YouTube videos, like his other videos, which were like subtopics of his VSL. which means that, if people are curious looking in the description, they would either see a book a call link or a link to his VSL, right? With a call to action. So the structure of the VSL itself matters too. So we crafted a narrative that basically did three things: positioned Marcus as the trusted authority through storytelling, gave massive upfront value so prospects walk away with real insights that they could use, and we subtly pre-sold them on his high-ticket offer without feeling pushy or salesy, right? It's a Trojan horse. That's how I like to think of a VSL, right? In their eyes, you're just giving all this massive value up front, but it's a Trojan horse because actually it has an incentive. You're being very intentful with the way that you're putting the information across. And with this approach, the rest of his sales process basically felt effortless, right? And this was a massive contribution to how he was closing so many deals. So the sales process, right? People don't take this is a problem, right? Is if people aren't taking your calls seriously, like you're getting no-shows, people are canceling, or just not really engaged when you get on the phone with them, it's because they rely on two outdated strategies, right? They either slap a generic book a call link in their Instagram bio, so they're just watching reels and then going straight to booking a call and hoping for the best, or you're just manually arranging a time to talk with them like it's just a buddy of yours. And this is the fast track ticket to people not respecting your time. So people will arrange a time, then hear nothing. And it's not that they're not that they're trying to be rude, but you have to remember that you're at the absolute bottom of their priorities. Okay. Even if they do show up, as a few radio silent days go by, they have slowly gotten colder and the excitement just vanishes each day that goes by, right? They slowly start to forget about the content that maybe pushed them to booking a call in the first place, which was most likely a reel or a TikTok. And there's two ways that we get booked calls. So one is the YouTube process, right? They watch videos 20 to 30 minutes at a time. So they're highly nurtured and highly like a very warm lead when they actually book the call, right? And these people are hot and ready to go because they've got a lot of watch time under their belt, right? So you don't just slip from their mind very easily because they've watched long form content. You stick in their mind much easier. So that's one way. And the second way is when people follow him on IG, we send a warm DM, then we put them through a setting process, which is the process of actually turning a stranger into a booked call, right? And then you send them the link. So this is far more superior to any kind of like disconnected automated process, like a check-in page or just straight booking a call in the bio link, because short form content doesn't really nurture and pre-sell people as powerfully as YouTube does. So by manually talking to these people, you're able to uncover a lot more information about what it is they actually need. And that way you're able to keep the focus on their biggest desires and pains to hold leverage and incentivize them to take action right onto the next step. So this is the kind of propose a call checklist when you're actually talking to people. So you need to know what their current situation is. You need to know what their goal is, and you need to know what are the things that are stopping them from getting there and why haven't they solved these problems in the past? Like, where's the gap? You need to find the gap. And then what you can do is make the offer. And the offer is you essentially using the gap, right, which is the information they've told you, to incentivize the call as like a way of them getting something from attending the call. The call isn't just, hey man, we'll see if you're a good fit for the program. No, it's you actually providing them some value, but for them to get that value, they need to actually attend the call. Okay. So basically what you're just saying is, I hear you, John. Would you be down to chat further sometime? I don't want to send you 1,000 messages, but I could walk you through exactly how you take what their problems are so that you can finally reach your goal. So you're making it very personalized based on the things that they're struggling with and the goal that they're trying to achieve, right? And from there, when you've actually got the call in your calendar, you just have to make sure that they show up, right? So they book, then they have to go through a nurturing sequence. So you use Calendly, right? If you don't know what Calendly is, it's a scheduling software, right? You can qualify them. So they click when they want a time, like the date and time they want. Then they answer some questions. Then ideally you want some sort of like thank you page that has a video that tells them about your service, about who you are, about what you do. You've got some social proof on there, some testimonials on there, maybe some frequently asked questions on there. All of this is just priming them ready for the call. And then between them booking and the call, what you want to have in place is like an automated system, right? That reminds them of the call through emails and SMS. Make sure that they've actually watched the VSL the whole way through, and maybe sends them some other pieces of content as well, like case studies and things. And from there, right, this results in like a, 80% show rate, I'd say 80%. Okay. If you have all of this stuff in place, there's not really much more you can do, but you can 100% guarantee that they're going to attend the call because they'll know about it. They'll be very, very aware of it. But you can't be 100% because everyone has their life to live. Everyone has things that pop up. But by this way, you just make sure that no one forgets about it. And then from there, we've got the actual call process itself. So the script. So let's talk about the call. So this is where a lot of coaches lose deals because they either just wing it or they just come across too salesy. So Marcus, on the other hand, right, we crafted him a simple structured script that made sure closing high ticket clients feels natural. And when I say script, I mean more like a framework, right? You don't want to come across robotic. It's more just a framework that you're trying to follow. So this is very important, but honestly, everything leading up to the call puts Marcus in an incredibly strong position, and one where he was able to go on an 8-call close streak, right? Closing 3K packages, which is insane. So this really does cement how inferior selling low ticket packages really is. Anyone who is stuck in that cycle of trying to be affordable, in my opinion, is riddled with limiting beliefs. That might piss some people off, but it is honestly the truth. And Marcus isn't selling to, entrepreneurs or career-driven men or business owners. He's literally selling to like 20 to 30-year-old men who just want to get in shape. That's the bottom line. So it just shows that you can sell high ticket to just about anyone, right? And here's the screenshot of him on 8 to 8 of calls, which is pretty mental. Now, let's quickly run through the call framework so you can understand the psychological leverage that he's building throughout the call. Something important to note is that, if you're trying to mentally close the prospect, and handle all objections before dropping the price. So all calls should be taken on Zoom at a scheduled time to ensure that you're getting their full attention and that they're going to be there for the entire period. So here's how the sort of structure goes. So at the start, just simple micro commitments, right? You're just making sure that they have 45 minutes. It's now still a good time. Yes. And this theme carries out throughout though. So throughout the whole call, you're trying to get micro commitments, which is basically like them saying yes or them agreeing to you. So before you're moving on to the next section, you're making sure that, do they have any questions? Would you like me to show you X? You're just making them feel like they're in control of the conversation, because people don't like to be sold to. They have to feel like they're in control of the conversation. Now, setting the tone, this is where you set a clear path of how the conversation is going to go. So it's reassuring to them, and they'll often then sit back and let you take the lead. But, if you're in front of someone with an ego who is quite overly confident, sometimes they'll naturally try and take the lead. But if you set the tone immediately, then this tends to put them at rest and they'll let you lead the conversation. The discovery phase. So this is you basically just trying to get as much information as possible. You're trying to get ammunition for the pitch, and you're trying to create leverage points to use when you actually then go to drop price and to pitch them. Future situation. So this is about you. Now that you've got the discovery, right? You know where the A point is. You know what they're struggling with. Now you're trying to figure out, okay, but why? Why are you trying to get to this point? Like, what is this point? Why do you want to get there? How is it going to benefit your life? And by asking them these kind of questions, you now establish the gap. And when it comes to pitching them, you have to sell them on what their biggest roadblocks are. If you're talking about stuff that they don't care about, that's when you're going to lose them. You have to make sure that you're you're taking notes and you're actually using your own words, their own words, sorry, to actually sell them. The qualification decision. So can you confidently get them results? And do you even want to work with this person? So the last thing you want to do, back when I said about, your offer being exclusive, it's not about just getting anyone into your program. It's about keeping your program tight knit, right, to people who you can confidently help and who you actually want to work with as well. So, I've had it plenty of times where people have been on a call with me and I don't think they're a good fit. And I just say, look, sorry, man, but I'm going to do my best to point you in the right direction. But I just don't think that, my program is right for you. And that's completely okay, right? But if they are qualified, that's when you can then go into the logical breakdown. So the logical breakdown is basically you just showing them how the program works and why it's going to help them get from A to B. Okay, you're not just reading the same thing every time. You're actually using the information that they've told you to bridge that gap, right? And that's what I mean by logically closing someone. So that by the time you get to the price, it makes so much logical sense that this is the right move for them that, they don't really have anything else to say. So you're basically using the ammunition from earlier, connecting the dots, and they need to be 100% certain that what you're going to do with them is going to work. So it must be a new opportunity. Okay. If they've said to you, oh, I've done these things and they didn't work in the past, then you are definitely not going to use those things to pitch them. You must present a new opportunity to them and focus on the areas that they haven't solved, positioning what you sell as the solution, right? And then from there, you do a temp check right before the investment. So do they understand why it works? Do they have any concerns or questions? And you need to handle any objections that they might have before you go on to the price. Because you're trying to get into the position where the only possible thing that they could say is, oh, sorry, it's a bit too expensive, which is out of your control, right? You don't know what their circumstances are, but there's ways to get around that objection. And when you drop the price, you want to use a weighted pricing structure. So what I mean by that is it's like it's a this or that. It's not a yes or no. It's a different frame of mind, right? They're looking at the options thinking, is this better or is this better? Which is more suitable to me? Instead of, should I do this or should I not do this? It's just pure psychology. And you're anchoring towards the thing that you want to sell the most. So for Marcus, it was a 6-month package for $3K. That's the thing that we wanted to sell the most. All right. I'm not going to go into this word for word, but if you do want the document that has all the word for word script and the thought process behind every single question, just DM me script on Instagram and I'll just send you the document. It's no problem. So let's just quickly recap on what we've covered here. So you've seen how we built a rock solid offer that's irresistible to his ideal clients, created a leveraged market machine, right, that generates an inbound traffic consistently, booked calls using a strategic approach, right, that guides prospects naturally without feeling pushy or salesy. And we're running sales calls that feel conversational, right? It makes them feel at ease, like they're in control. And because of all the nurturing and the long form content, that they're happily to sign up because it just makes complete sense. Now, that's honestly just scratching the surface of like what's possible if you have a proven system in place. Like I've only, an hour isn't long enough and I don't want to be on here for absolute, like 10 hours. But I know what you're thinking, this all sounds great, but can I do it? And let me tell you, yes, you can. So here's the truth. Marcus started with 0 experience as an online coach, right? That's very important to understand. And he had no audience, no fancy setup, no idea where to begin. But with a very clear path in front of him, he went from 0 to over 10K in just a few weeks. And now he's consistently earning 10 to 20K cash collected while running a business that actually gives him freedom, fulfillment, and flexibility. Okay. He's traveled multiple times and he's now actually moved to his dream destination and got a nice apartment because of this. So if Marcus can do it, there's no reason why you can't do the same. So for those for you who are genuinely committed to making this a reality and have actually made it to the end of the video, right? and you're a personal trainer or a coach within the health and fitness industry, or even just someone like Marcus who has a passion for this, you can help people, right? And you just want a way to monetize it. You have two options, right? Option one is you can take everything you've learned today, try piece it all together on your own and hope that you get results eventually. And to be honest, that might work, but it's going to take you months or maybe even years to figure it all out and optimize it. We've made all the mistakes and we've got all the data from scaling clients. So that's why we're able to get results so quickly. Option two is you can fast track this process, right? Get the success that you're looking for by having a clear, proven action by action roadmap in place and me working by your side on a one-to-one basis. The same process that's already helped coaches like Marcus and others achieve consistent and predictable results, right? Without ads, without having to invest in any expensive softwares, without having to send any cold DMs, and without even having a big audience as well. And I'm so confident that we can deliver these results for you that if you don't add at least an extra 5K per month in online coaching sales to your business in 90 days, using everything that I teach you, then you don't pay. It's that simple, right? So instead of just stuffing your brain with more information from YouTube courses, you have absolutely no excuse to make your dreams become a reality and finally achieve the success that you actually know you deserve, right? So if you're ready to see results like Marcus and you want my one-to-one help to do the exact same, then just click the link in the description below to book a free roadmap call, right? We'll map out the entire journey for you and make sure that this is the right solution for you. Make sure to subscribe and follow me on Instagram. But until next time, I'll see you guys later.